Hi, and welcome back to Wicked Wands Tarot. My name is Carmen, and today we've got a reading for you about somebody that was hoping they could misdirect or misrepresent and, distract people. But the information that is coming out, or perhaps how you approach the conversation with this person, begins to make it more and more clear that their excuses or their deflections, they aren't working. So this is a person who has attempted to defend themselves or has tried to lie, and it is coming through as a failure with the Ace of Wands. So they might be quite confident in their skills of manipulation or lying, but this is not one of those they should put on their resume as a liar. Hello, Key Controller. Hello, Steven. Let's go in spirit with a little bit of Wing Chun Tan. I hope you're having a good day. Hello, Carl. Hello, Aqua Beauty. How we doing? I hope you're all having a good day. If you would like a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box below, right above where you can find additional information on my memberships, anywhere from $3.99 to $24.99 to get additional content. All right, we're going to dive in with the Tattoo Tarot. Hello, Jimmy. How you doing, hon? Hello, Jamie. Hello, Patrick. How's your day going? How's the aliens? So we've got the Hierophants, the Nine of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. This would be a person that likes to point to their accomplishments, point to their experience or reputation. They may have a high standing, or they may have a lot of people that look up to them with the Hierophant. This can be a reference to a relationship, and for some of you, it may be. But it's more so coming through as somebody who likes to hold their head up high. They feel like they've done a lot and that they have achieved a lot. But all of this is looking like it could be potentially marred or, kind of ruined by this thing from their past that's coming back up. Queen of Pentacles, High Priestess, and the Two of Swords. Yeah, I do think this is somebody who has a lot of connections. So this could be a person who is well respected because of their professional pursuits or because of the people that they are related to. But this is a person who is, I think, a little bit, how do I say this? I think this is somebody who feels like they can kind of navigate life a little bit easier because of the knowledge that they have or because of what they know perhaps about other people. So we could have a bit of a secret keeper with the High Priestess energy. What I saw in my mind, it's weird because I haven't driven in Chicago in so long, but I was thinking about the express lane in Chicago and how anytime I was driving there, by myself, of course, so I couldn't really use it. I remember thinking about how funny it was keeping track of how many people were actually like supposed to be in that lane and who maybe shouldn't be. Same thing in Minneapolis, really. But I pictured Chicago, so that could be important for somebody. This person is like, yeah, there's rules and stuff, but I don't know, like I could figure out a way to deal with that. They have certainly been through difficult things. I think they have anticipated what path would be best for them to choose. So again, strategy and focusing on what it is that they want. But there's something that happened long ago, and it's a regret of this person's. It has to do with the family home or somebody. I feel like this is either family members or something that happened in their home. is we have the Ace of Cups and the Ten of Cups. This should be very positive energy. We're clarifying the Hierophant and the Nine of Cups, but this is coming through to me as the facade, right? This is what I want everyone to see. I have everything that I want. This could be about, influencers that really like to make everyone think that everything is perfect for them when it's really not. But whoever this was that was very invested in this reputation, they have always had a little bit of a fear that this thing that happened in their past would come back and haunt them. And I think that's exactly what's happening. There's some, with the Page of Swords, someone who's talking or some piece of information that makes it clear. There's something that is a little bit suspicious about this person's past. King of Cups in the reverse and the Page of Cups. So the King of Cups in the reverse to me is giving, I don't really have emotions. Whoever we're talking about, the Hierophant here, this is somebody who I think is able to present themselves as like a normal person, but they don't care about other people. They care about what their reputation is, and that's about as far as that goes. So we have this Page of Cups, and I feel like there's somebody younger than the Hierophant, and this is somebody they probably felt could be controlled in some way, and they're not. This is coming back on them because they felt like they had control. The Hierophant has actually lost control. Hello, Vichitata. Hello, Dwayne. How you doing? Hello, Michael. Hello, Corey. How's your day? This is the Love Oracle. Clarity and chemistry. There's definitely truth about someone's intentions that are being revealed. And I do think it has to do with some sort of tryst, love affair, physical encounter. Releasing, letting go, moving on, and withdrawn. I'm sorry, it also says walking away on this card. And then we've got single, lonely, and solitary. We have a chance encounter, somebody who, the Hierophant has a status, and it's, I would argue within the community, it's higher than this person that they were dealing with in the past. I feel like this Hierophant chose to pursue something physical with somebody that they felt was lonely. So I think there's a little bit of targeting based on, can I manipulate you? Are you a little bit naive? That kind of thing. Hello, Yellow Tooth. How are you doing? Longing, craving, aching, wanting, and commitment. I think the Hierophant kind of dangled the possibility of a relationship with this person, but the relationship that the Hierophant really wanted was more about power dynamics. They wanted somebody that, whenever they decided they were interested, that person was like, okay, I'm here. What do you want? Do you want to go to a movie? What do you want to do? So not a real loving energy coming from the Hierophant, more of a, if I want somebody's company, you'll do, This is the Wild Reflections. Hello, Miss Princess. How are you doing? Six of Cups, Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, Three of Pentacles in the reverse, and another Hierophant. Yeah, this is somebody that The Hierophant has not spoken to for a long time. There has been, I think, a decent amount of time. The number 5 is important. So this could be, 5 years ago. Maybe things happened in May. But I'm very focused on the fact that, I'm very focused on the pentacle in the sunflower 5, right? But we also did have the 5 of Pentacles clarified by the 5 of Cups. And the Hierophant is also number 5. So this could also indicate somebody's going through change. But to be honest, I think this would be at the very beginning stages of that change. The Hierophant has felt like everything was easy, that they could always, be in the fast lane. But now it's like things are coming to a screeching halt. It's like, no. You thought everything was great. You thought that this thing that happened in the past wouldn't come back and cause some issues. But here it is. It's back. Now you have to deal with that thing, that secret, that person that you didn't want people to know that you had been in a relationship with, or that you had relations with, right? They were hoping to avoid this entirely. 8 of Swords in the reverse, 9 of Swords, and the 6 of Pentacles in the reverse. Interesting, because we started this row with the 6 of Cups, so bookending with the number 6. Yeah. Somebody has thought about whether or not to, bring up this experience with the Hierophant. I do think there's been either some trauma, betrayal, or anxiety over what happened between these two. And with the 8 of Swords in the reverse, there's something here that has changed from a mental standpoint, perhaps healing or going to therapy or feeling supported, that emboldens this younger individual to feel like it's time to actually talk about what is going on. And I just want to send a big hug to anybody that has the cojones to speak truth to power, because this feels to me like somebody who acknowledges the Hierophant is probably more likely to be believed, but I'm going to tell people what happened anyways. Eight of Wands in the reverse. The King of Cups. And the 5 of Cups. Another 5. And in the same column as the other 5 of Cups, by the way. So there's something that has been unspoken. But this King of Cups, like I said, there's someone who has shown support or concern for the individual that dealt with the Hierophant. What should I call you? We'll figure out what to call this other individual, but I do think there's been a long period of sadness or recovery or trying to, figure out what to do because of how the Hierophant was kind of dismissive or lacking in terms of compassion. Hello, I am. How are you doing? Hello, Carrie. How's it going? So we've got the 2 of Cups, clarifying the Hierophant. 2 of Cups is friendship or love energy. Page of Swords, Ace of Cups, Page of Cups in the reverse. I think there is a letter, because we have the Page of Swords in the same column as the other Page of Swords. I think there's a letter, a text message, or maybe even a voice recording, but there is some sort of communication or some sort of documentation, like evidence, right? Between these two, you all bumped uglies, whatever it was. There's proof. And it will undermine whatever argument the Hierophant might make in terms of, oh, that didn't happen. That was fake. This person's just lying. And it makes them feel a little bit more comfortable talking about what happened. Again, this feels like making a little bit of promise or intentions known that weren't actually accurate, right? Leading someone on, basically. This is the Fairy Lenormand. What else do we have? Number 22, which is about making a decision, having a path to choose between two, most likely. We did have the Two of Swords as well, which talks about being at a crossroads. And we have the Ring. This talks about commitment, and it's literally right underneath the word commitment from the Love Oracle. And can also be a little bit of a tie to the Hierophant. So we could be saying that this Hierophant is nervous about this information coming out because at the time they were in a relationship, or something about the nature of this relationship was frowned upon or illegal, or, you know, you're not supposed to fraternize with students, that kind of thing. There is an agreement, a promise, or a contract that the Hierophant broke in order to pursue the younger individual. And I do think that there's something here about an age difference. We do have the Whip coming out, indicating that there may have been a little bit of an unwillingness to listen to the potential consequences the Hierophant could face if they chose to pursue what they did. They wanted to focus on the brighter side of life. They didn't really want to think about whether or not things could eventually become a problem for them. So the Hierophant, I feel, was being a little bit short-sighted. If you're new to my channel, whenever I pull the Whip card, I have a little joke to tell. The Whip. No, not the Whip. The Whip. No, please, not the Whip. The Whip. No, please, anything but the Whip. Anything? The Whip. All right, let's get a few from The Truth Is. What else do we have? Power couple, gold digging, and resentment. Yeah, kind of feels like this Hierophant was married or is married, had a relationship and stepped out on it, or was very focused on presenting everything as, you know, perfect, right? But underneath the surface, there was someone here that was trying to, I think, potentially pursue the Hierophant for financial gain. And with the resentment card, I think that's part of why there is the tension that started, or maybe even has gotten a little bit more distinctive at this point. Because it kind of feels like we had one person who wanted to leverage their power to have some sort of fun on the side. This is the What's the News Oracle. Bitchy Tata, I don't know what you're asking. Will you ask a more detailed question? I kind of suck at that. Hello, Danielle. I say too much, you know? When you're channeling, sometimes it's like it just, you know, in, out, I don't really process it. Memories, New Boo, and Machismo. So toxic masculinity or some sort of pride caused this Hierophant to question the situation they were in, or to sacrifice on their morals. It literally is a reference to the masculine energy, but I'm just going to go ahead and encourage you to keep in mind that this could be somebody who was toxic, but in a feminine way. So it's a general reading, but this is somebody who felt their power or their status, their situation, maybe even who they're related to, their money, that it was, you know, justification or it's normal for me to want something on the side, right? I feel like there's proof. It may not be pictures, but I feel like the past is coming back to haunt this person because there's like letters or pictures or a voicemail or something. Hey, Laura, how are you doing? I am God. I know you ain't talking about Laura. You up in here like dominated in the live chat, and Laura and I we're friends. Money on the side. Wow, right when you say that, Danielle, we've got the repo card. Default on payments, financially incapable, repossessed assets, and high vibing. Good vibes, living to the fullest, and enjoying the present. So someone was not doing well financially and still wanted to have a certain lifestyle. That could be why we had somebody pursuing the Hierophant, even though they were already attached to somebody. Yeah, we ain't gonna do that, hon. No, no, no. If you want to come back, you can, but you're gonna have to like be a little more respectful, okay? And having a username that says "I am God," it's a choice, okay? God is a deity, not a human. So I'm just gonna ask you to think about that too, because that's a little weird. All right, moving on. Heart to hearts. Cuffing season. Rebound. I feel like we have somebody who I feel like it's within the first year of being married. Maybe somebody was pregnant, but I feel like it's a pretty fresh commitment that somebody made. Then they find another person that they want to just have like a little fling with. And it starts with a conversation that goes on for much longer than they expected it to go. You know, I don't know that they really felt that guilty about making this decision, but that could be why there's some karma coming back to them at this point. That's funny. I'm glad to hear that, Daniel. This is the Tarot of the Nile. Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. Three of Swords. The Eight of Pentacles in the reverse is clarifying the Eight of Wands in the reverse. So we've definitely had some repeat numbers. Knight of Wands and Temperance. Yeah. So I thought we were going to have maybe like a long-term thing, but you just wanted what you wanted and then you left. Feels like the affair partner, or I guess, what should we call you? I still haven't really called you a name. Let's call them the Page of Swords, because this person has some sort of documentation. And the pages also talk about somebody who's younger. And I really do feel like this is somebody who's younger. At the very least, this would be somebody who has less power than the Hierophant. And the Hierophant gave into some sort of temptation with this Page of Swords. Temperance indicates there's been a period of peace, or feeling like I got away with it, feeling like there's no issue here. Nobody really knows what was going on. So I'm fine. Again, an effort to misrepresent or make it seem like something else was going on, right? Six of Pentacles in the reverse, the Magician, Hierophant in the reverse, and the Page of Pentacles. Oh no. Control over the situation or the power that made this Hierophant feel a little bit invincible or untouchable, or, you know, like I can do whatever I want. This is somebody who I feel like they're trying to hit a, you know, baseball without realizing they don't have the bat. They feel like they have all of this power. They feel like they have all of this control, and maybe they used to, but that power, if it is a bat, well, they lost it, but they're trying anyways. So that's why we have the failure at the beginning, the Ace of Wands in the reverse. I don't have anything as far as like evidence to clear my name. I don't have anything to address the questions that you're asking me that make me sound guilty, but I'm still going to try to do something to make this difficult, right? I'm going to like stomp my feet and get all mad about it. But the Hierophant is in the reverse because having given up their morals or having been exposed for somebody who was pretending the whole time to have these morals means that now they don't have the power that they thought they did. They've been moved down to a page. So it's a difficult fall from grace for this person, but they had a long time to feel like everything was great for them despite doing whatever it was. So, you know, they kind of got used to it. Two of Wands in the reverse. The King of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Devil in the reverse. I gave into something, or I did something I shouldn't have. I know that, you know, I was in a relationship, or I should have been committed to this person. We've got the King of Pentacles in the reverse. This is somebody who steps out on a relationship, but they may have tried to do some things that made them feel like their karmic debt had been cleared. But I think the fact that they were continuing to lie about the situation made that unlikely. So they were trying. They're like, what can I do? Maybe really overdoing it, or doing everything they could at least to try to make their partner feel like they were in a good relationship, right? Like a little bit of guilt, motivating them to be as affectionate as possible, that kind of thing, right? Hello, Rainbow Warrior. Hello, Voyager. How we doing? King of Swords, King of Cups, and the Page of Swords. Yep, Page of Swords is this person. Sometimes people are blinded to the reality of their situation because they've been so accustomed to living in their own world, or seeing things through rose-colored glasses, however you want to say it. This person felt like they were maybe always the smartest person in the room, or they would always be able to leverage their connections or their power in order to be able to control the narrative or manipulate how people see them. But at this point, they're realizing, I have lost that power. I no longer possess that power. Power corrupts. So this is one of those situations where, because they were corrupted by it, they end up losing it. And I think a lot of times people like this, they don't really expect there would ever be a day where they would lose social standing, or where people would believe someone else against them. But again, there's some sort of evidence here, right? Hello, Universal. How are you doing? Ten of Wands, Eight of Swords, Queen of Cups in the reverse. I do feel there's someone who's felt trapped in a relationship or who did feel trapped in a relationship. I feel like this would probably be the person who is dealing with the Hierophant, not the Hierophant themselves, although they probably would say they felt stuck in that relationship. I think we more so have somebody who knew that they weren't really respected or loved by this Hierophant, but maybe didn't know exactly how to get to the truth because they're dealing with somebody who's very manipulative. The Hierophant may have chosen a partner specifically for their more docile or passive attributes. Four of Swords, the Tower in the reverse, and the Page of Wands. A false sense of security, someone feeling like they've averted a disaster, that they've been able to frame the situation as something that was more innocent than it was, or be able to shift the blame to somebody else. Whatever they did, they felt like they really had a little bit of a masterpiece here, right? I cleaned everything up. Nobody knows anything. And here I am. I get to do whatever I want, right? Maybe for a little bit, but now all of those details seem to be coming out. Moon in the reverse, no longer secret because I think there's like collective resentment here. Someone who previously could walk down the street in their town and hear a lot of really respectful greetings from people, maybe even some they didn't recognize, is now realizing they don't have friends, they don't have people that want to back them up. They don't really have it like that anymore. Six of Cups, King of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. There's someone who is able to speak truth and is taken more seriously than the Hierophant had hoped. Their understanding of the past or their retelling of the past is supported by pictures or letters, something along those lines. And with the Ace of Pentacles, for some of you, it could be, well, if I'm telling the truth, then why do I have this piece of jewelry they gave me? Or why do I have this thing that they signed? I feel like a gift that could be a problematic situation for the person that wants everyone to believe that they never did anything wrong. Knight of Cups and the King of Cups. I do think there's another person who is supportive, and that could mean I experienced the same thing, or I witnessed something, or I overheard this person talking about this. And it adds to I guess it validates the story from the Page of Swords. Let's see. This is the Situations deck. Desire, lust, sexual chemistry. Yeah, I think we kind of confirmed by now this is a third party. Interlude, pause, timing factor. So this timing factor, it's kind of making me feel like for many of you, there was a stepping out on a connection because someone was pregnant. It also makes me feel like it could be timed to travel. Thank you for your service to those who are active military, but I do feel for some of you, this is about a person who cheated while someone was deployed. because there could be like a work justification for this person being elsewhere, right? Or being unavailable. But our Hierophant felt like they could leverage their connections or maybe even pay a couple people or just, pray, and nobody would ever find anything out about this situation. They felt like they got what they wanted, but they've still had dreams about this to kind of haunt them. So they definitely didn't forget about it. Just kind of a reminder. And I feel like they've gotten worse recently. Oops. We have unconditional love, genuine, certain love, nightlife, gamble, take a risk, and meeting. So this is a person who I think was in love, did have a happy connection or a commitment to a person that they cared deeply about, but they stepped out. Met someone in a bar. We've got the magnetic card. Felt like putting it in the reverse. So there was a very quick chemistry or instant attraction. Obviously, some spending time together, perhaps without clothes. But then I feel like I have to keep things to a particular time. It has to be just like a weekend long, or what was that movie? Well, I guess there were 3 of them. Before sunrise? After sunrise? Sunset? I don't know. But they were cheating, okay? That's the point. And there was a timeline, right? I think we had somebody had to get to the airport, right? This is somebody who's like, I'm going to enjoy you, or I'm going to have a good time for the amount of time that I can. But then I'm going to deny that it ever happened. I'm going to deny that there was any feelings. I'm not going to feel like there's any need to see you again. And this person, who may have had their own ulterior motives, got very upset by being rejected or discarded so quickly. This is the Hidden Truth Oracle. Seems pretty likely, key controller. We've got, I'm so attracted to you. You speak to me through music. I hide behind material things. I will wait for a sign from you. See, this is somebody who I think got a little carried away with this connection with the Hierophant and kept waiting for things to come back around, acknowledging that the Hierophant was otherwise engaged or was literally, married to somebody else. This Page of Swords may have been a little bit focused on making as much money as they could, or they may have been looking to find, someone that would gift them things. So I do feel like the I hide behind material things could be for both energies. But of course, the Hierophant has, I'm not available. They were in a relationship. It's like, I can find you attractive and pursue the physical element, but I'm not going to be looking for an emotional connection. They buried themselves in work to forget about the Page of Swords, but there was some difficulty in forgetting about the Page of Swords. This is the Overthinker's Oracle. What else do we have? Blocked. I will love you until the end of time. I have so many regrets. I hate how I treated you. Hello, CEO. How are you doing? Your love was true. I know I owe you an apology. Jealousy and envy. I do feel that that jealousy energy came from both the Hierophant and the Page of Swords. Being away from you hurts, and I didn't comprehend what this connection was until it was too late. So I do feel like the Hierophant acknowledged much later on that they actually had developed feelings for this Page of Swords, but they had to find a way to kind of cauterize that wound or really be like done, because I think they were prioritizing their business or their like professional situation, their social reputation. But I don't think they ever really came back to revisit the Page of Swords. I think they just kind of let it sit. And this caused resentment, caused the Page of Swords to feel like, okay, well then I'm going to tell everybody what happened. I'm going to write a tell-all book and make a bunch of money off of it. Hey, Spoons, how are you doing? All right, I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back shortly with another live stream for you all. But thank you for the likes and the subscribes, and I'll see you in the next one. Toodles.